Look at that little thing with those big ears at the bottom there. The video we're going to be reacting to today was suggested in the comment section by Johnny Bravo. He wants me to check out Wojtek the bear. Looking through here, it's a Polish military bear, evidently. The adorable bear that served in World War II, the bear that went to war, all that kind of stuff. So the video that we're checking out is this one by Weird History, the story of Wojtek, the Polish military bear. We're going to check it out. Thanks for watching with me, guys. There's going to be a link in the description section for this. So you guys can go to the original video and click like and stuff. There we go.
In 1942, a band of Polish soldiers recently released from prisons and work camps stumbled upon an unlikely mascot, a brown bear cub. Enamored with his antics and friendly personality, the troops took on the cub as one of their own. The bear grew and the war progressed. As the men ventured into combat, Wojtek the military bear served right by their
You said Wojtek? Is that how you pronounce it?
war progressed. As the men ventured into combat, Wojtek the military bear served right by their sides, distinguishing himself enough to become an official part of the Polish military forces. Today on Weird History, we're going to find out about Wojtek, the bear who went to war. But before we get started, take a minute to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know which crazy historic animals you would like to hear about. Now let's crawl out of hibernation and head back to World War II.
How does
On
a boy...
September 1st of 1939,
I didn't read that right. How does a bear join the war? That's what I meant to read. All right, so September 1st, 1939.
Poland was invaded by German military forces from the north and from the west. On September 17th, Poland was invaded by Soviet forces from the east. As a result of the invasions, more than 400,000 Polish prisoners were sent to work camps in Siberia.
Dang.
This double whammy on Poland was made possible by the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact, a pact which fell apart when Hitler directed German forces to invade the Soviet Union in 1941. Not one to take a double cross very well, Stalin ordered Soviet troops to release those same Polish soldiers taken prisoner a few years earlier to join the fight against Germany. As these Polish troops made their way out of Siberia and into Iran, they met a young shepherd. The shepherd carried with him a sack, and in that sack he kept a Syrian brown bear cub. Makes carting around your Shih Tzu in a purse seem kind of lame, doesn't it?
Right.
The bear was an orphan. His mother had been killed by hunters. The playful spirit of the cub won the troops over, and they made a trade with the shepherd. The newly adopted bear left his old life to go on an adventure with Polish troopers in World War II. The fighting men gave their new friend the name Wojtek, which means joyful soldier.
Okay.
A brown bear.
Something about this does seem slightly familiar. I may have actually done a reaction video to this bear in the past, or perhaps it was mentioned in a video that I either reacted to or just kind of watched in my off time. Because I do watch videos in my off time as well. It's not only reactions, obviously. I try to leave these kind of videos just for reactions, though, but not always.
Brown bear in the ranks of soldiers tends to stick out. A Syrian brown bear is a rather small bear, at least as far as bears go. As an adult, they can measure up to 4.5 feet long from nose to tail and weigh up to 550 pounds. Their fur...
Yeah, that is pretty small for a bear, I guess. But I got a story about bears actually. When I was in West Virginia as a teenager, we went down there. I got some family down there, like my mom's and grandma's family and stuff, and we went down there. And there's a movie called October Sky. I don't know if you've heard about it or seen it or whatever, but it was based in the 50s, and it was these kids that make rockets, whatever, right? So they're going on top of the mountain to test off the rockets. Basically, we were going there to that rocket testing site, right? They got like a campground up there now. And we went up there to take some pictures, check it out. It's a tourist location, right? Well, off in the distance, there's a campsite, and I thought it was a deer. That's what I'm used to, is deer, like white-tailed deer is around here. Behind the like in the bushes and the trees, behind the leaves, right? I just seen something brown walking around. Thought it was a deer. I was like 17, being dumb. I tossed a rock over there for, I don't know what reason I wouldn't have done that now as an adult, but being a dumb kid, I tossed a rock over there to just scare the deer off, I guess. I don't know. Turns out it was a bear. It was a brown bear. Well, not a very big one. It kind of looked up, went like this, was curious, went back to rummaging. around smelling the campsite and then wandered off. Nothing happened. I was nervous. I was scared. As soon as I realized it was a bear, I was scared. Like, uh-oh, is there more around? Is it gonna come here? This and that. We left shortly after. Um, Not because of the bear necessarily. We were already getting ready to leave, but I think the bear kind of helped us leave perhaps a little bit quicker. But anyways, just wanted to put that out there. It's a good bear story, okay? And if I knew it was a bear, I would have not. Absolutely not threw a rock towards it. And nowadays I wouldn't have threw a rock towards a deer either or any animal. I love animals. I was just a dumb teenager, you know how it goes.
Their fur is light brown, closer to the color of straw. The hair between their shoulder blades is often a different shade from the rest of their body, sometimes appearing as a dark stripe. And it is the
Cool.
only bear species known to have white claws. Very stylish, but boy do they show dirt.
Wow. The only bear species known to have white claws. So polar bears don't even have white claws. Or panda bears, I guess they're probably black. Interesting. Hungry as a bear.
The bulk of the responsibilities to care for the brown bear cub fell on two men, essentially his adoptive parents, Dimitra Shaluga and Henrik Zakarowicz. Henrik, in particular, formed a close bond with the bear. In most of the films and pictures that exist of Wojtek, Henrik can always be seen nearby. Apparently, Wojtek had a helicopter parent. In the wild, a Syrian brown bear eats fruits, berries, seeds, plants, grasses, nuts, grubs, and small mammals.
Yeah.
If particularly peckish, he will eat cultivated
And small mammals. I didn't know that. I thought, okay.
grains and livestock. The military was ill-equipped to care for a bear cub, so the troops made do with what they had. Wojtek was initially fed condensed milk from a bottle. But as he grew,
I actually thought he was chugging a beer for a second. It looked like he's chugging a beer, didn't it?
his tastes expanded to include, well, basically anything that was available. Not a real foodie. The larger Wojtek got, the more bold he became to roam around the camp's kitchen, scrounging up a snack. In the
Yeah.
rare moments when his military family wasn't doing military things
Look at
like
him.
packing, moving,
Look at that little thing with those big ears at the bottom there. That is a cute bear.
in the rare moments when his military family wasn't doing military things like packing, moving, working, or fighting, Wojtek was always up for mixing it up with his human friends. Whether Wojtek was entertaining the troops or the troops were entertaining Wojtek is hard to say. In any event, he threw back beers like one of the boys. But
So he
big
did.
talk over
He
beer
did. So was that picture a picture of him throwing back a beer? Because they were talking about condensed milk, but it looked like a beer bottle, and they just said he threw back beer. And the graphic showed Heineken. I don't know if that's what he was drinking or not, being in Poland, but I mean, it could have been Heineken. It's a worldwide, they sell it worldwide, obviously, but
over beers was not Wojtek's style. He was a bear of action. The larger he grew, the more he enjoyed wrestling. The
okay.
brown bear loved to roughhouse with men, though it was a rare soldier who was brave enough to earnestly tussle with Wojtek. No troops ever got seriously injured, but it was common for a wrestling match to end with someone's body getting scratched or someone's clothes getting shredded.
Yeah.
And that someone was never Wojtek. Perhaps that's why most of the men prefer to watch from the sidelines. As a side note, a friend who urges you to wrestle with a bear may not be your friend. Wojtek's behavior was influenced by his peer group, who happened to be war-hardened men with advanced skills in carousing. It's a tough environment for an impressionable young bear. Wojtek adopted their habits and fit right in. He had his own mug that he used to drink beer and wine from, and when it was empty, Wojtek would look mournfully at the cup until it was refilled. He also begged for cigarettes, though he insisted someone lit them before he would accept. Typically, after
This is a real bear? That's crazy. It's not satire. I scrolled through the video. Like, it's a real bear. It's a real thing that happened. I got the wrong size tips on my earbuds. I went down a size. I had an earache or something. So I went down a size so they fit in better. Now they're too small and they're falling out. I got to go back up another size. Other than that, they're great.
after one puff, Wojtek would swallow it whole.
Jeez.
Come to where the flavor is.
Why are they letting a bear smoke?
When the troops
But I
arrived in
guess
Palestine,
back then, it's like back then there was people smoking in schools. Teachers were smoking in class. They didn't know that it was bad, I guess, for some reason. For some reason, locksmith, good
when the
neighbors.
troops arrived in Palestine, they were organized into the 22nd Transport Company, Artillery Division, Polish Second Corps. The men, however, would not abandon Wojtek, who was immediately adopted as the company mascot. But it wasn't just a symbolic gesture. Wojtek was part of the team. One evening, while the camp was asleep, a thief crept into the compound looking for something to steal. Unfortunately for him, he awoke Wojtek, who rose to investigate. With a massive brown bear lumbering towards him, the frightened thief, understandably, forgot he was a thief. He made such a clatter that he woke the troops, and he was
Right.
quickly apprehended. As a reward for his vigilance, Wojtek was given a bottle of beer. Hey, barkeep, how
Hey,
about a
but
bottle of suds for my furry friend over there?
that's funny. A chauffeur.
When he was young, Wojtek traveled with the company from site to site in whatever cab of whatever truck had room. But as Wojtek grew, he tipped the scale at 500 pounds, and it was harder to find any vehicle that had room for him to ride.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool. I was gonna point out though, like right here on the truck, he's got his own little symbol there, and it looks like he's carrying like a big missile or something. Is that a big bomb or a missile that he's got? I don't know.
Ride shotgun, so he was upgraded to one of the company's recovery trucks. A recovery truck is like a tow truck, but military-sized
Like a
and used to
tank.
move tanks. For Wojtek, it was a traveling home, like an
Oh,
RV built for a bear. He spent his trips lounging on the recovery truck's bed and alleviating his boredom by climbing the crane to get a view of the surroundings.
dang.
Wojtek wasn't the
So it's
only.
basically like a tank, but like without the weapons. It doesn't need weapons. It's just there to transport.
Surroundings. Wojtek wasn't the only animal who accompanied soldiers in the Second World War, although he likely was the only bear on the battlefield. Some animals, like anti-tank dogs, served grim but useful purposes, while others were brought to battle as a mascot. Whenever he encountered other animals, Wojtek was always friendly. The soldiers of the 22nd Transport Company loved to talk about the encounters between Wojtek and Kasia the monkey and Kirkuk the dog, two of the war's most famous animal combatants. Consider them the A-list celebrity animals of the day.
I don't think those are actual pictures of them. Just a hunch. They're too perfect. It's probably just an AI generated picture. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That could be actual pictures of them, but I don't know. Bear versus scorpion.
Wojtek never suffered a bullet or shrapnel wound, but he did encounter a life-threatening injury. Wojtek was once stung on the nose by a scorpion. Such an
Dang.
injury is often lethal. In fact, his friend Kirkuk the dog succumbed to a scorpion sting. Wojtek's friend Henrik was beside himself. He refused to leave the bear's side, doing all in his power to help nurse Wojtek back to health. For the first day and a half, the situation was critical, and it looked as if Wojtek might not make it. The soldiers feared the worst. But Wojtek fought back, and against all odds, overcame the scorpion's venom. Within days, he was back to his carousing ways.
Heck yeah.
As the 22nd Transport Company received their assignment and was sent to the Italian battlefront in 1943, Wojtek had to be left behind in Palestine due to regulations that prohibited animals in combat.
So the thing with the Palestine thing is like, isn't it a cold weather bear? Like it's not good for the Palestine's a desert, isn't it? Thought it was like hot out there. I mean, they're scorpions. The bear got bit by a scorpion. The climate might be better in Italy for the bear than Palestine. I mean, that would be at least a little closer to what the bear would be used to, I would think.
An active war front is typically not an ideal place for a bear, but Wojtek was
No.
not a typical bear. To get around the regulation, Wojtek was officially enlisted in the Polish army. He was even given his own paycheck, rank, and serial number. This
got
helped
the money?
ensure his participation was recorded and the world knew under which flag Wojtek served. Though there was confusion and likely a bit of aggravation about transporting a bear to the Italian battlefront, the Polish troops eventually got their way.
Nice.
In
Rising to
Italy,
meet the
there were a
moment.
series of fortifications known as the Winter Line. In 1944, the Germans held the western portion of that line, and the Allies determined that breaking through that line near a rocky hill known as Monte Cassino would give them access to the Italian capital of Rome. Atop the hill was an abbey that had been converted into a fearsome stronghold. The abbey ultimately withstood 3 assaults before the Allies drove its inhabitants backwards into Rome. During one of these assaults, Wojtek's pal Henrik, serving as an artillery spotter, pulled forward into battle and had to leave his bear friend behind. Left among the men who armed and manned the guns, Wojtek refused to sit idly by. Mimicking the behavior of the soldiers around him, Wojtek began to lift massive crates of ammunition and carry them towards the cannons, disregarding the gunfire and making himself useful throughout the assault.
That's
By
awesome.
the time Monte
So he's just like helping them re-ammo basically. Like that is a super smart bear, and they've just got him out of the wild. Like it's just a wild bear. They didn't breed him for that intelligence. He just had it. That's a smart bear.
Cassino was in the hands of the Allies, more than 70,000 men on both sides had lost their lives. When the chaos of battle
Sucks.
settled, the troops were able to rest, and word of Wojtek's exploits spread. His fearless actions and loyalty in battle made him a hero among the 22nd Transport Company. In honor of Wojtek's deeds, the official seal of the 22nd Transport Company was changed to feature Wojtek marching towards cannon fire, a shell in each hand. The logo was then
That's what it is. It's a shell. That's what was on that Jeep or that truck or whatever. The big old mortar shell, I get cannon shell.
featured prominently on vehicles, uniforms, and the like.
Nice.
After the war, the 22nd Transport Company moved to rural Scotland, where they were stationed at an airfield near the village of Hutton. The soldiers Wojtek had spent the previous 3 years following into battle were restationed or sent home. One by one, they came to say goodbye to their furry friend. Wojtek's battle adventures were ending, but his time in the spotlight was just beginning. Word spread.
So they're like big dogs that can pick stuff up. And maybe they're smarter than dogs. Maybe.
Battle adventures were ending, but his time in the spotlight was just beginning. Word spread that there was a Syrian brown bear nearby, and Wojtek became a local celebrity among the Scottish people. He was profiled in stories, visited by locals, and inducted into local organizations such as the Polish-Scottish Association.
Okay. Yeah, what do you do
In
afterwards?
1947, Wojtek left the military. Rising from his initial rank as private, he was discharged as a corporal. He retired to the Edinburgh Zoo.
There's literally people in the military, in the Polish military, that had a lower rank than a bear. Very interesting, guys. That's why I love doing these reaction videos. That's why I love these suggestions. Thank you, Johnny Bravo. This is a good one.
There, he enjoyed a good life as beloved celebrity, doing an occasional interview and appearing on a local children's show from time to time.
Cool.
As the years wore on, Wojtek was never forgotten by his army pals and was visited by Polish soldiers he had served with. As 82-year-old Polish veteran Augustyn Karolewski described his reunion with Wojtek, as soon as I mentioned his name, he would sit on his backside and shake his head, wanting a cigarette. Still one of the boys. In the wild, Syrian brown bears live between 20 and 25 years. Wojtek, for all his adventures, lived to a ripe age of 21 and passed away in 1963. So what do you think? Would you want to have a bear in your unit? Let us know in the comments below. And
Yeah, that's a good video. That was a good suggestion, guys. If you got some good suggestions, let me know. There's a video reaction suggestion form down below. It's backlogged. There's a ton I'm going through, so it may be a while. I don't react to everything on there too. I skim through it and pick out the good ones. But if I do react to it, it could be a while. Drop it in the comments. Maybe I'll see it and get to it sooner. Who knows? Anyways, do me a favor, hit like on this video because YouTube's being weird right now and videos aren't getting viewed. And it's not just, I thought it was just my channel. It's not. It's a ton of different channels. Linus Tech Tips talking about it recently. A few other channels that I saw was talking about it and everything. So do me a favor, hit like, share the video if you can, and have a super fun, awesome day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.